Hey ladies, welcome back to day 3. Okay, we are going to do our front and back facing today and that bias tape. Okay, so we are almost done with this project. And I hope everyone up to this point has been doing well. If it took you a little bit longer than the day to get your part's done, that's fine. Just as long as you get it done and you take your time to do it correctly, that's fine. Take your time because the videotapes are online. You can go back and look at them if you need them. If you don't need them, then that's fine too. So I wanted to say to Miss Irving, you did your thing, making your own bias tape. I was impressed. Okay. I haven't made bias tape in like forever, but yours, that was good. So I need some pictures on Pinterest. I don't know if you have a Pinterest account. If you don't have a Pinterest account, get those pictures to me on Facebook, and I'll definitely put them on there for you. I know everybody doesn't have a Pinterest account, so that's cool. I want to just get those pictures posted to share them. And if anyone has any pictures in on Instagram, your progress, not just your finished project, just your progress too, please tag those pictures on Instagram with TBC so long so that we all can look at them. There's only myself, I got the most pictures out there, and 2 other people I think posted something on Instagram. Miss Faye is the only one that posted on Pinterest. So, want to see your work, guys? Alright, so let's get started with today's project. We're going to do the front facing, which is piece number 13, and we are working with piece number 6. Okay, so these are the pieces that we are working with today. So you should have this piece is number 6, and I will say this, saving face from when I said I was only using facing in that collar. I totally forgot about this back piece, but yes, this back piece I am using interfacing for this back piece. So my interfacing is on my fabric, okay? So this is piece number 6, and then this is piece number 13, okay? So what we are going to do is we are going to start off with putting a back seam on piece number 6, okay? And I did already put my seam on back piece number 6, so we're going to put a seam on back on piece number 6. I'm going to say that one more time because, like I said it 3 times. And then we are going to flatten out that seam, and then we are going to finish this edge for the back piece. And I want to say whatever method you use to finish your seam in the back of your jacket, the bottom seam, whatever you used on that, I think you should use on these 2 pieces as well, so that we can have a cohesive look. So if you put bias tape like I did on mine, I'm going to put bias tape on the end of this. If you serge the end of that one, then you want to serge the end of this one. If you turned that under and hemmed it and stitched it, then you want to do the same thing to this piece and this piece, okay? So that we have a cohesive look. We don't want one kind of seam there, one kind of seam here, and then one kind of seam there. That ain't cute, okay? So get this piece together. We are going to hem the back, stitch the back, and we are going to hem our bottom, whichever way you choose to. So let's get that done. I'm going to put bias tape on mine. All right, so let's get that done, and I'll be right back. Okay, so we are done with that piece. Okay, there's my back seam pressed open. Done with that piece for right this moment. Okay, so what we need to do is go ahead and take this piece, piece number 13, and hem this side whichever way you've done this piece in your back seam. Again, I would do it the same way. Okay, so go ahead and turn that under and hem that, and then when we come back we will attach these pieces. Okay, so go ahead and hem piece number 13. Okay, so we are back, and these are my 2 front pieces, And I've put my bias tape on the sides, and I have my bias tape on my front piece. So now we are going to attach the shoulders. So here's my pieces, and I'm just going to match that shoulder up with that one. Notches there, that should be matching. You can see that. Alright, so just going to pin this piece. It's awkward pinning this stuff, trying to get it on camera. Okay. And then I'm just going to scooch this in till I get it to match here. Notches. Notches. Should be matching. Okay, this is what we should be looking at. We are going to stitch here, and we are going to stitch here, and we're going to press out those seams, and then we are going to be ready to add this to our jacket. Okay, right side, make sure your right sides are together, and we're going to stitch those shoulder seams. Okay, so you've got your shoulder seams sewn together, all flattened out and ironed and everything. So the one step that we need to do, if you didn't do this already, it was a little bit, just a tad, it was right after, it was in the part where it's telling us to sew this together and sew the seam. We have to base this stitch around here and reinforce these corners. Okay, you should have had 2 markings from your pattern pieces, and we're going to reinforce those just like we did on the jacket piece when we cut to add that collar in, because we're going to cut in a notch here. Okay, so just reinforce those corners, sew all the way around, and reinforce this corner. Okay, I'm going to give you a second to do that because I've already done mine. Unfortunately, the tape wasn't rolling. So alright, so go ahead and do that. We got this done. We did our stay stitch, and now let's clip our notches if you haven't already. Okay, don't cut your thread. Alright, so there's my notch that's clipped. Alright, and I'm going to put this right here because we are going to add that to our jacket. Alright, so now we have our jacket with the collar. Woo, you can't see that at all. Okay, so we have our jacket. This is the collar facing down. We're looking at the right side of our jacket with the collar facing down. So what we need to do is we need to sew this facing right sides together. Okay, so this one might be a little bit confusing, so because we need to make sure that we're seeing the right sides together so that when we flip that over, that right side will be showing on the inside. Okay, so we have our jacket. Okay, and we're going to go through the same thing we went through when we sewed this one. As far as the bunchiness, we got to make sure we don't catch it. And now we have to make sure we don't catch it on this side and the other side. So we're going to be careful. Alright, but what we need to do is we need to pin this onto our collar. And we'll start with the center back just as we did. Okay? And again, you should have notches that match up. And then that should have your center seam matching your center seam of your jacket. Okay? Oh, did y'all see my fabulous pin cushion? This is DIY on my blog, just so you know. I'm just saying. Alright, so I want to pin that. Start with that back and those notches in that seam. Alright. And we're going to take our time working in these areas. So again, we are going to open our split, and it should be at the corner, same as we did before. Should be at the corner. The split, the point of that split should be meeting at that corner. Alright, so I'm going to pin that and then work back in here to get this all pinned. And remember, we're making sure that this side and this side are all flat. Okay, we got double duty this time. Okay, pin that. However many pins you need to work that out to get it flat is what you're going to use. Making sure both sides are flat when I'm pinning, and double check it when I'm sewing. So that's my split area. Now when I open this, again, this should meet with this piece. Same as we did on the other side when we were sewing the collar on. Okay. Now here we go. This is my bubble area. I'm going to make sure my fabric is flat, no pleats, no gathers. And remember, we have to check both sides. And I'm pretty good. Okay, so I'm pretty good on that side. Okay, so we'll move over to the next side. I'm gonna match my split at the corner here. And get the edge over here, should meet. The sewing gods have been with me because these things have been going super well here. You always get the correct, stuff don't always matching up all the time. But because I'm taking my time, that's probably why I'm having such success. So, the moral to the story is take your time. Okay. Ouch. Stuck myself. See, I spoke too soon because I done pinned up fabric in there that shouldn't be pinned up. I spoke too soon, but it still matches up. Okay. Alright, so got that all pinned up. And just check in, making sure I don't have anything caught up. My fabric's caught up. Okay, so I'm pretty good with mine. Okay, again, you want to make sure you don't have any puckers or gathers on either side. See, there's the loose fabric, and when I sew it, I want to make sure I don't catch any gathers in this area on that side, especially that side. There's more loose fabric on that side. Alright, so let's go ahead to the machine and we're going to give it a stitch just like we did on the collar, all the way around and the end. Alright, and then we are going to make sure that's correct, and then we will flip this baby over. I sewed all the way around, and I don't know if you noticed it, but when I went to sew it, all I did was follow that seam that was on the other side from the first stitch that we sewed. So okay, so that's all done. Okay, and now we just need to turn this over. So now we're going to flip it over, flip that lining on the inside. Okay, so what I'm going to let you do is I'm going to let you get over to your iron, press out them seams, and get that flipped over all nice and neat, and then we are going to come back. I'm going to press the whole thing and get it all together, and I'm also going to pin my front together. So we're going to iron the seams. If you need to clip some of those seams around for these rounded edges so that it flows better, just go ahead and clip your seams, and that'll give you some leeway for your seams to lay a little bit smoother. Okay, clip that. Make sure you don't clip your fabric, okay? Your jacket, because we're almost done. That'd be sad to clip that. So go ahead and clip your seams. Get that all pressed out. Fold it inside. Press out all your seams and everything. And pin this raw side showing, because remember we're going to cover that up with some bias tape. And just pin that all the way around, because we're going to stay stitch that. But let's get it all pressed up so we can see the progress that we made, okay? I'm going to press mine up, and then I'm going to come right back. So I'm all pinned up, and I got an apology to make for y'all. And I'm going to tell you the truth, because I was partly trying to go off memory when I did the other jacket. And my bad, I was wrong, because remember when I said to leave this, and I said, oh, the pattern don't say to leave this. It tells you to bring it right up to the butt of this jacket. Yeah, I know why now. And if you figured it out before right now, you should have left me a comment on the blog. Because if I goof up, I need y'all to tell me. I'm human. I'll be moving too fast sometimes. And I actually was really trying to go off of memory. So, we should have took this to the edge, so our hem is bigger than what it should be, but it's a simple fix, and there's two things you can do. If you haven't already fixed yours, or you did yours like the pattern, kudos to you. Boo for not telling me, but kudos to you. Alright, so you can we hand stitch this seam, so you can either just take this out, drop your hem down to match this, and then you'll be golden. Or you can do what I'm going to do, because I'm not taking that stitch out. I'm just going to clip this and just cut a little bit of this off here. Is it wrong? Yes, it's wrong because I was wrong and I didn't take the step that I needed to do, but that's how I'm going to fix mine. You can, like I said, the right way would be to take this back seam out, drop this hem down to match. It looks like I left about half an inch or a little bit less to make sure that when I sew that I have enough room to sew it, and then it'll match up with that. But the reason why it should match up is because the bias tape, we're going to sew these raw, we're going to baste these raw edges, and we're going to put the bias tape right on here. So the bias tape is going to cover that edge that would have been meeting up with this seam right here. And I hope you can see that. So I apologize, and you'll probably read this part before you see it in this video, because I'm going to put it at the top of the page, because I did recognize that I made a mistake. And like I said, boo for whoever looked at it and saw it and knew that that was wrong and didn't say anything. It's all about communication. We all in this together. So anyway, so you should have pressed all your seams. And also I wanted to say is, here in these corners in the collar where we made the notch, if you did not catch your fabric and you see a hole, then you're going to want to flip that back over and sew just a little bit until you get that corrected, okay? Because you should not be seeing a little hole. If you miss the fabric, you'll see a little hole. Now I see some stitches from where I put the stay stitch in that corner to reinforce it. So I'm just going to take those stitches out, and that's an easy fix. But if you like cut up, if you in your notch, if you didn't catch the fabric and you left some of your little knots showing and you'll see a little hole in there, that's not cute, and you need to fix that because it shouldn't be there. Okay, so you need to make sure you have no holes or no cut fabric showing in those corners where we put the notches at on both sides. You should not see anything. You should see fabric, and you should see fabulousness. And like I said, if you see stitches, you can just take those stitches out. But everything should be flat. Mine came out flat. Okay. I matched my insides. This is my shoulder. I matched that up. Match that up with the shoulder on the front. Okay, so this is what we're looking like, all pinned up. This is the inside of the blazer. This is the edge where I goofed up, but we're gonna base that on. We're gonna base that edge from the collar all the way around. You should have pinned that. And also, let's just pin that. And actually, let me see before I make up some stuff too. Let me just see if they're basting that too. Yes, they are. If you read that with me. Yep. So we're gonna base that to the sleeve, the whole of the sleeve. I pinned some of it, but we're gonna base that. So you see that sleeve part, base that too, pin that and base that. So then we would have basted the face into the sleeve, and in the front all the way around. We're gonna base that. And again, you can just take this time to, if you need to correct this bottom. If you're going to go ahead and trim it like I am going to trim it, if you're not good with lines and cutting, why don't you just slap that fabric, that pattern piece on there, so that you get that round edge, because that's important. I don't want you to mess up that that round edge, okay, if you don't know how to cut. So I'm pretty good with cutting, so I'm just going to take that, but that's important. That round edge, I think that's important to the jacket, and I don't want to be distorted. So if you want to just place your pattern piece on top of here and just trace that with your chalk so you have a line, or take that back seam out, drop it down to meet that, repress that, and you'll be good. Alright, so either way. Alright, so I'm going to baste mine, and then I will be right back. So we should have basted all the way around. our jacket, and you should have corrected that area that was a little extra if you needed to. If you didn't, like I said, kudos to you. And we should have basted around the sleeves, okay? So now what we need to do is we need to add our bias tape around our jacket. Okay, so first thing I do for this is trim this into a point, okay? And the reason that we are going to trim that into a point is because we are going to fold that down, and then it's going to be less bulk in there, okay? Because we have to fold it down because this goes this is where we have to put this piece, and I'm going to pin it so that I can put it up there and show it to you. One moment. And again, I'm only pinning it because I'm showing you this up close, okay? So we have to fold that under because this is how it's going to look when we put it on, okay? So that edge has to be nice and straight. And that's meeting up with your collar. Okay, I hope that's not blurry. Okay, and then we're gonna stitch it just like we did the collar on the edge, and then we're gonna fold that corner just like we did with the collar. Okay, so we're gonna make sure that the corners are just like the collar, nice, and they meet. No gaps, no crookedness. We're gonna make sure we get that right at the corner of our lapel. Okay, so we're going to get that corner, and then you're going to take this all the way around your jacket. Now, I don't think one pack of bias tape is going to wrap around your whole jacket, and you don't want to piece together in an area where it's going to really be conspicuous. So what I suggest is that you start with one side, go all the way down to your center back, and stop. Okay, then get your other pack and start on the other side and go all the way down to your center back where you're going to meet with that other piece. That way you'll know exactly where you're going to be piecing together your bias tape, and it won't look as bad as if you had to stop in the middle of this lapel area and piece together a bias tape. So we don't want to do that. You definitely want to make it somewhere where it's not going to be that noticeable. And I think that's an even place to do it because it's going to be even on both sides, and it's done in the back of the middle. Okay? So get your bias tape and get busy. Make sure you're going. Make sure you're straight. Make sure everything looks really good, because this is the focal point, especially if your bias tape is a different color than your jacket, like mine. Like, you're going to notice this bias tape, okay? So I'm going to make sure my stitches and everything is straight. Now I got to change your thread if you have a different color. I got to change it to yellow now. So I'm going to let you get that piece together, put your bias tape all around, and then we will be done for today, okay? So let's get that bias tape on there. You watched me do the collar. You don't need to watch me do this because you're a pro at that now. And you're just going to, like I said, you're going to make sure you work with that corner so that it's all neat and then nice and neat, just like you did with the collar. All right, okay? Ladies, we have got that bias tape on the jacket, and it is looking good. Looking good. Okay, so we are done for today, and I am going to see you tomorrow, and we are going to tackle those sleeves. Hopefully that goes smooth. and we won't have any issues with that. But so I want to say adios. See you on day 4. We're going to tackle the sleeves. Be ready. See you.